Well, the weekend is here, and that means it is time for our regular movie reviews with Bob Waliszewski. He's the director of Focus on the Family's entertainment review department called Plugged In Online. So, Bob, we've got the new animated Smurfs 2 coming out. Looks like it could be good for the kids. What do you think?
Animated and action combined. And I'll say that the first Smurf movie left me feeling blue. Yes, I know, terrible pun. But really, it has to be on my list of least favorite movies that were relatively family friendly. It just was awful. I expected the same from Smurfs 2 and walked out with a surprising, wow, there's some pretty good messages here. Messages about the importance of unconditional love in a family, the importance of adoption, for instance. I mean, they were very intentional. They're not light. They're major themes in the film. Now, it's still goofy. It's still silly. Essentially, it's Smurfette's birthday. She gets kidnapped by Gargamel. There's some essence in Smurf life that she wants because it'll help him take over the world. There's the plot in a nutshell. And it's not a perfect film. I mean, there's some toilet humor, and the word Smurf fills in as a substitute for several profanities, never saying the profanity, but they use the word Smurf as if it was a profanity. We saw that in the first one, too. Bit of a disappointment, but maybe not a deal killer. But again, I was so surprised that the family message was quite positive. So for anybody out there who's listening, watching, who really has a fan that likes the Smurfs and they were wondering, knew we weren't crazy about the first one, the second one, relatively benign.
Okay, that's interesting and good to hear. Red 2 has been out for a couple of weeks, but it's still number 6 at the box office in terms of revenue, and we haven't talked about it yet. Is it worth seeing? Is it family friendly?
No, it really isn't worth seeing, and it really isn't all that family friendly. And it hasn't done all that well. It is number 6, but it's only made $35 million in its 2 weeks. So apparently the word has gotten out that it's not the best. Bruce Willis, Helen Mirren, John Malkovich. RED stands for Retired and Extremely Dangerous. In the first one, it was a bit more family friendly, and it had something that this one definitely lacks, and that was a kind of a sense of fun goofiness about the film overall. This one just lacks that sense of fun. For instance, one of its Achilles heel is a lot of violence, not gory necessarily, but in a worldview sense, they really don't care who they kill. It's kind of always the end justifies the mean. Add to that some language issues as well. And Red 2 just doesn't stack up very well, in my opinion. And if it doesn't make any more than $35 million, it won't surprise me. I don't think a whole lot of people are chomping at the bit to go.
Ouch. At least we've got 1 out of 2. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to you next week.